Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
McKay, here's my story. Be me, 21 years old, studying law, living with my parents. Pretty much normal, went to raves and such. Never been religious. I've always believed there's a logical and scientifically provable explanation behind everything. One night I went home at midnight. See a hearse in front of my apartment building. I enter and right there, next to the elevator, is a coffin. Shocks me a bit, but it's not that I haven't seen coffins or corpses, so I get my shit together, be a bit stoned, so snap a few pictures. Get in my room, text them to a buddy. Look what I found in the hallway. Etc. etc. Some time goes by, I totally forget about this. Going to bed one night, put my phone on a shelf above my head with my left hand. Semi-awake, I hear a quiet scratch right above me. I think I got a text or something and my phone just vibrated, but I'm half asleep so can't be too sure. Reach with my left hand exactly where I left my phone. Except it isn't there, it isn't anywhere near that spot. All of my whats.jpg. Get up, turn the lights on. My phone is like 30 centimeters to the right of the spot I left it. You could actually see the trail in the really thin layer of dust that had settled on the shelf. A really blurry mark which manages to get my heartbeat from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds. Take it, no missed calls or text. Check WhatsApp, Viber, Instagram, every single app on that damn phone. Nothing. Can't think of anything that would move it in such a way without causing no noise or tremors at all. Stay up all night. I think that's the night when I actually got addicted to nicotine. Be somewhat cautious for the next few days. Decided it must have been something caused by the weed. Stupid as hell, I know, but only that seemed logical, and I guess I just needed it. I didn't even smoke that much, but whatever. A week later, be on a raid. The golden age. Takes longer than intended because of noobs. Be hearing some noises through the headphones. Tell my bud what's happening. Doesn't believe me but doesn't call me nuts either. Suddenly I started hating being alone at home. Something completely not typical for me since the age of 10. Have that feeling of some eerie presence around me. Call it bullshit, 21 century years old, science can deliver. Read ridiculous amounts of stuff on the webs. From air current dynamics to metal properties. Figure out I must have moved the phone in my half-conscious state like a sleepwalker and it was just the wind that opened the door. Yeah, I can live with this. .jpg. Get up one morning, home alone. Have a cute girl coming over in an hour or so. Have my morning coffee, decide it's time for the shit shower shave pre-sex routine. The bathroom has no windows, so it's just a lamp with the switch in the hallway. Blast some music for the feel-goods. Start showering and a couple of minutes must have gone by. Just got shampoo on my head, ready to wash up the junk for the incoming action. When all of the sudden, I lose sight. Blink and wave my arms like some dumbass. At this moment I realize the music is still blasting on from next door. All of my whats. With each passing moment, the situation just sinks deeper and I get more frightened than ever before. Shake it off. Just leap out of the bathroom, all wet and soapy. Slip on the tiles in the hallway, trying to grab onto something as I'm falling. Fail big time. Suddenly, all black everything. Wake up after a while, tremendous pain in the back of my head. Look at the wall, I can clearly see the wet mark left by my head. What's even weirder is that I can actually distinguish a face in it. I still don't know if it was there at all. I know the human brain can make you see what you want to see and so on. But at that moment, I just gazed at the little drops of water and shampoo, forming something like that Nirvana smiley face cover, just melted down like from radiation. Shower running, music still on, I'm just looking at that wall naked in the hallway. My head is seriously hurt, I got some blood too. Go to my PC and by the songs that have passed, calculate I was out for something like 10 minutes. For the first time in my life, I really feel like I don't have any idea what's going on. Ring ring motherfucker.gif. It's the girl, get dressed and go get her. She sees my head, asks what the hell happened. Explain to her I slipped while going to pick up the phone but nothing more. We chat a bit, I can see she knows something's wrong, continues to ask. I lose it and just start freaking out. Tell her everything. Tell her how I'm scared of staying at home. It was just fear at first, but now I got hurt. She actually acts understanding, turns out she was into that kind of stuff. I don't wanna know. JPEG. Tells me she has a friend with whom I should talk. Arrange a meeting after a while, she comes with said friend. Bitch is obviously nuts, starts talking about some crystals and blah blah. But hey, I'm not that sane either right now. Tell her everything. Makes me do some weird stuff. Claim I'm cleansed or whatever. Couple of weeks rolled by rather uneventfully. Seems that worked. One day, I was at university, looking for something on my phone. See the pictures and decide it's time they go for good. Finish and head home. Parents at work, so I guess I can just chill. I put my key in the keyhole but it just doesn't enter all the way. Push it again, still nothing. Decide whether mom or dad finished work earlier, got home and left their key in the keyhole from the inside. I ring the bell twice. Nothing happens, decide they just can't hear me. Happened rather often, it was a big apartment. Get out my phone and start dialing my mother. What's up, are you home? Open the door.
Nope, still at work.
Dial father. Hey, are you home, dad?
Nah, I'm actually working late tonight.
Key is still in the keyhole. Not only I can't unlock, but it's like my key is being pushed out from the inside.
Hey, Anon, what's up? Are you okay?
I'm pretty fucking far from okay.gif. Get the biggest brain freeze I've ever experienced. Dad is still on the line, but I'm not listening to him. Staring at the door as if I can see through her. Dad starts yelling and I get brain activity again. I realize I don't want to enter anymore. Heart is beating so hard, I thought it's gonna burst out of my chest and make a masterpiece on that white door. Key is half inside the lock. Just let it go, my keychain slowly swinging beneath. Take a step back, trying to breathe. Sweaty as F. Start cooling down after a while, the keychain has stopped swinging by now. As I'm thinking of reaching and getting my keychain, the one inside it just casually backs out and falls on the ground. Not a single piece left of my common sense, I just take them, get in the elevator and stay outside for the next 6 hours. Talk with parents, go to my aunt's. Changed my phone the following day. Moved out a week later, never ever returning to that haunted ass apartment. Obviously, my parents think either I've gone batshit insane, since they haven't noticed anything like that ever, or that I've been doing drugs, which is not the case. A joint or two twice a week certainly can't make you go through this stuff. I don't know what really happened there, and as of now, I wish I never find out.
Out for 10 minutes. Shame, up until this point I was actually believing you. If you are knocked unconscious for 10 minutes then you definitely sustained a major head injury. Other than that, nice job. Knowing it's fiction, 8/10.
Well, I did have some medical issues afterwards, but I don't know if it could be something related, and besides, let me just remind you that I was panicking. My head hurting like hell and confused by the happening. Could be more, could be less. I'll try to find the pics of the coffin from the message history with the bud.
And to be honest, that's what you get for snapping pics of some guy's coffin so you can text your friend LOL look a dead guy.
I've got a couple stories. Mostly from my friends and I fucking around in the rural Northeast since starting college. I was a suburbanite, despite that having its own happenings, until I left, so a lot of this shit is new to me. This was from between my first and second semesters. I'm not great at Greentext, so I'll do some if I feel it's pertinent. I was 17 at the time, and had just finished my first semester. During winter break, some of my friends and I made plans to spend the week of New Year's together, at my friend's house in rural New Jersey. Plenty of woods, hills for sledding, skiing, snowmobiling, what have you. I had arrived the night before everyone else was going to, so it was just me and him. Let's call him T something T, and I had done over the course of the fall season was made a habit of walking, driving around our region late into the morning, and just talking. Deformed sleep schedules and unresolved emotional trauma are powerful tools for friendship building. Anyway, it was like 2 a.m., and we decided we were gonna go out for a drive. I usually drove, 'cause I was the one with a car, but he had just brought a used Ford Bronco that he loved to drive, so I let him. We're about 2 hours into our drive, and we're a good hour or so out from his house, driving forest roads that he wasn't familiar with. At some point, I'm rambling and looking off into the woods, and I feel myself lurch forward, hard. Broncos are heavy cars, and we had a good bit of speed going. Over the sound of the tires screeching, I hear him yelling, "Fuck, fuck, fuck," and then I'm thrown back into my seat by a big crunchy thunk sound. Despite never hitting an animal before, I put 2 and 2 together and figured a deer had been on the poor receiving end of the juice mobile. Once the car had settled, and I raised my head, I found I was right. About 30 or so feet in front of us, off to the right, there was a deer on the side of the road, covered in what was probably blood. I looked over to T, and saw him white-knuckling the steering wheel, and taking shallow breaths, pretty white-faced. I asked him if he was okay, and, despite a quiver in his voice, he said yeah. At the time, I was pretty out of it, but I was sure I'd heard something about checking if a deer you hit is alive, calling local police if so. I said as such, and went for the door handle, only for him to relock it as soon as I hit the button. I asked him what was up, and, without taking his eyes off the road, said that he thought something was wrong. He stuttered out that it looked like the deer flew in front of the car, and that it was bloody before he hit it. I turned around to face him, and as I did it, I involuntarily scanned the tree line off to the left of the car, and thought I saw something in the distance. I narrowed my eyes, and what I saw quite literally scared me into complete silence. Whatever it was long as fuck, and was slumped up against a tree trunk the way a squirrel would be, but think like the size of a person. After my gaze settled on it, I saw it was moving, breathing in the same way that a dog would pant and their whole body moves. I was completely stunned, and after about 3 seconds of silence, T, still not moving his gaze, says, "You see it too?" Another second, and he slams on the accelerator. As we haul ass off, I see it react and slither down the tree, and back into the forest. By the time either of us are back in the present, we've already broken 70, and are far gone. We didn't talk much about it until we got back to his house. I tried to bring it up, but he was clearly really upset by it, so I left it alone. The rest of the week went by uneventfully, but he didn't let us fuck around in the woods on his property after dark, understandably so.
Live in semi-rural area. Lots of open fields and old barns and dense patches of forest. Explored lots of these areas as a kid. One field in particular was known to be haunted. Totally empty, nothing but grass, not even any trees on it. Stories about this field go back like 100 years. My own grandfather told me one story. When he was a kid, he saw a barn with no roof sitting out on the field. He wanted to explore it since he never saw it there before. A little spooked though, so he went home to get his older brother.
Barn was gone when they got back. Also lots of creepy, Halloween, stories about it that were total bullshit but added to the creepiness of the field. On Halloween the devil appears in that field, that kinda shit. One year, during Thanksgiving, I'm visiting grandparents who live near the field. Chilling with cousin, talking about shit. She brings up the spooky field. Wants to go. I join her. Evening's settling, so we're telling scary stories about the field to spook each other. Approaching field. It's totally swarmed in fog. The surrounding area looks totally normal and clear, but the field is completely obscured in this thick ground fog. Cousin gets nervous. Says we should go back. But I'm trying to be a badass and tell her I'm going to run into the fog. She tries to hold me back. Too late, bitch. I run towards the field. About halfway there I hear my cousin scream bloody fucking murder behind me. Screech to a halt and turn around. She seems to be running back towards the house. Her scream gets to me, not going lie. Turn around and follow after her. As I go it sounds like someone is chasing after me. Holy fuck, increase speed and don't stop till we're both back at the house, totally out of breath. Ask cousin why the hell she screamed like that. She says as soon as I ran she felt something rush past her and heard footsteps on the grass running towards me. She panicked and left me there. Think about the footsteps I heard. Totally confused and spooked.
So I've been living in this place for about a year now and I've witnessed some strange stuff. I'll start with the first two as they are pretty short. 1. My girlfriend was staying over that night and we were just hanging out and stuff, but suddenly we both heard these heavy sighs from behind us, which was weird because we were sitting against a wall. A few minutes later we heard it again and a few hours later it changed into some sort of cackling and scratching. Few hours later, it stopped. 2. I was sitting on my bed just chatting and doing some homework when I heard the same cackling as before. Then 3 months ago, I looked around for a source but again couldn't find anything. I looked to the windows on the other side of my room and a female face appeared in them. It lingered for a few minutes before disappearing. 3. Now this incident is again 3 months after the last event and the housemate who lives in the room next to mine has finally moved out. And that night, last night, I heard a female voice coming from his old room, which is now vacant. I was like WTF and walked to the wall to listen better to it but I couldn't make out what it was saying. Few minutes later it stopped. So I was like okay sure I must have imagined it or something. But as I lay back in my bed I hear the same voice again but this time in the kitchen. And it sounds real fucking angry now. So I walked to the kitchen to check out what it was and I saw this shadow standing in the middle of the room. It was just standing there. And this was really weird as this room is well lit with the lights on 24/7. So I walked back to my room to get my cell phone so I could take a picture of it, but when I returned it was gone. Later that night I kept hearing weird noises like scratches, knocking on my bed and shit. And even now I feel like I'm being watched by that thing. Anyone know what it was? Does anyone know how I can figure out what it was and why it's here or how I can snap a picture of it? Also I know it wasn't my other housemates because they're gone for a few days. They left 3 days ago and have not returned.
I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people experience this, but here it is. Heard of lucid dreaming a few years back. Sounds cool, so I decided to try it. Go to bed and lie there without moving for like 20 minutes. Feel like my hands are one and my legs are one. Feels weird but I don't move. 10 more minutes pass and I no longer feel any of my body parts. I start feeling weird. After 5 more minutes I feel this huge pressure on my chest and feel like my body is being compressed. I get fucking paranoid and open my eyes. Later I looked into it and saw people from the Middle Ages painting pictures of demons sitting on people's chests when they would have such an experience. Got scared shitless but decided to give it another try. Go to try again. Get to the same point and get scared again. Only this time I refuse to move. Fill my mind with all these fucked up thoughts and pictures. After like 15 to 20 minutes I start seeing human-like figures with my eyes closed. Figures get clearer and clearer and I get scared out of my fucking mind. Open eyes but my body and part of my brain is asleep. I have a nightmare about dark figures in the corners of my room and little demons near my bed with my eyes open. Can't move, can't stop it. It lasts like 3 to 4 minutes before I almost get a fucking heart attack. Actually wake up, turn on the lights and start crying. I was afraid of sleeping for a few weeks. Still get chills when thinking about it. Never fucking again will I try something like that.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.